Our second day, third stop is Lacey Keosauqua State Park. For a minute there, I thought Cab just wanted to hang out in the lake and not do the hike, but he's ready to go. So let's check this one out. This is going to be a 2.1 mile lake trail hike, and we're going to stay on trail because I think this guy is going to get tired. He'll be at almost 8 miles by the end of this trail. I don't want to push him too much, even though it is a beautiful day. So let's go check out. I'm just going to call it LC or LK Trail.
Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide. With your wagon tail and your endless stride, through the forest green to the mountains face, you make the wild feel like the safest place. You sniff the air while I map the trail. Together we're strong, no way we'll fail. The world out here feels big and free, but it's just you and me under this canopy. Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide. With your wagon tail and your endless stride, through the forest green to the mountains face, you make the wild feel like the safest place. When the stars come out and the fire burns low, you curl up tight in the moonlight glow. Every bark echoes like a song in the night. You remind me why this feels so right. Oh, my hiking dog, you're my trailside guide. With your wagon.
So at the trailhead, we optioned to go clockwise on the trail. So that led us down to the boat ramp. And now we're taking the footbridge over the spillway. So that means, of course, there's a dam. And the lake that we saw is actually part of the Des Moines River. The Lacey Keosauqua State Park is actually Iowa's second oldest state park. It was established in 1920, and originally its name was Big Bend State Park. And that was because the park, once the dam came across the Des Moines River there where we just walked across, it was a bend in the Des Moines River. Of course, that's why they called it that. But they wanted something a little more colorful, so they named it, for the first 5 years of the park, Keosauqua, which is a Native American word for like floating slush in the river. That's really roughly translated. Later they added Lacey to it, and it was for John Lacey, who was a very staunch advocate of Iowa natural resources. He was a Civil War veteran. He served in the state legislature and in Congress for a number of years, so his name was honored with the park as well. So not only has this park had two, you could say three names, it also has two different names combined to give it more of its heritage. The park is 1,653 acres. So again, it's the second largest in the state, or excuse me, second oldest, but one of the larger state parks. Not the largest. Back this way. Let's hit the trail. And it does feature a campground, hiking trails, boating, fishing, roads along the way for bicycle riding. I do not think they allow snowmobiling in this park. At least it wasn't promoted. But so far, this has been a nice trail. It's all natural. Looks like there used to be a really crushed limestone here, but it hasn't been added in a number of years, so it's kind of worked its way into the soil. Uh-oh, looks like I'm getting wet feet again. You too, cabbers. That's all right. Yep. Oh, not bad. You want to get a drink there? It's probably pretty warm, not as cool as you like. Ready? Okay. Let's keep on going, my brother. Oh, that got cool really quick in the shade. Nice. Get a drink. I gotta tell you, this trail, it's kind of got that magical, mystical feel to it. It's like around every bend, every rise that you're going over, you're just waiting to see it. See like what's down the trail. And you come around a bend and you see this. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. Hey, you need to get a drink? Why don't you come over this way? This way. Over here. This way. Yeah, much easier. That gives us a good view of this too. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? How much labor went into that? It's just crazy. That's astounding. That folks built that. Neat. It's neat when you get into the forest on these trails and they're really shaded and it's cool. That's where you want to be. But then you get to a sunny spot and it just brightens up. And you can just see it changes. It's neat. Definitely part of that magical feel. We're near the end of this trail. And I gotta say, I have not seen one other person on it the entire way, which is kind of cool. But I also say this trail is longer than what all trails and even the park says it is. They're saying it's 2.1 miles. And we followed the trail without getting off. And right now we're at 2.3. And there's at least 1/10 of a mile left. So always be prepared. What you read may not always be true. But it's been nice to have the trail to ourselves the whole time. The only people we've seen are the two fisher folk when we first got on the trail, right off the trailhead. Here we are, back off the trail. So again, we started, we went that way. We went east, and we ended up at the end of the trail there. It's more than 2.1. Not much, but a little bit. Should we go check out the campground? Show folks what that looks like? And there's another historical data point about this park that we're going to take a look at if we can find it. So let's do that, okay? Come on over this way. There you go. Good boy. What do good boys get when they do good? They get treats. There you go. Good job, buddy. That's a messy car, but we don't care. I'm going to give Cabby a break here so he can be rested up for our next hike. But this is the campground at Lacey LK State Park. There are 113 campsites here. 45 have full electrical and water hookup. And you can see they're pretty nice. I mean, it's a nice quiet campground. I love having these cedar trees right in the campground. It is right off of the main road of the park, so it's really easy to find. And they're in really good shape. I'm impressed. I'd camp here. This is nice. I said I'd camp right over here by these cedar. There are a few pull-throughs. The sites that are in the middle are pull-through, and then you've got back end for the rest of the sites that are around the edges. So it's a nice campground. Like all of the parks that I'm visiting this week, they're all state parks, so they do have camp hosts that sell you the firewood. And this camp host is actually right at the entrance of the park. Some of them are not right at the end, but they're all marked wherever they are. It's a nice campground. The state's doing a good job of keeping these up. Impressive. I told you we had one more piece of history to share about this park. And this is part of our pioneer history of the United States. And right along here, this is part of the Mormon Trail. The Mormon Trail was a 1,300-mile trek that led across the United States for expansion of the Mormon religion from 1846 to 1869. And the river that we see here, this is the Des Moines River. Is that really more important than learning about history? You ready? Let's go. Come on. Yeah, we don't need another pea shot. Let's go. But along this part of the Des Moines River, along the trail, the Mormon Trail, was where the planned ford of the river was. And this ford was called, if somebody will keep walking and not smell every tree. Man, this ford was called the Ely Ford. We've got a little memorial here for it. Man, if I was going to cross a river, would it be here? This looks pretty deep. It's moving fast. And I'm sure the camera's not picking this up, but it says from the late 1840s to the 1860s, an exodus of more than 70,000 Mormons passed by here on their way to their new Zion in Utah. Starting first from Nouveau, Illinois in February of 1846, the first group of at least 13,000 Mormons crossed into the Iowa to escape religious persecution, then spent the next winter in the area of present-day Council Bluffs, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska. So that's clear on the other side of the state. In 1847, Brigham Young led an advance party of 143 men, 2 women, and 3 children along the Platte River at Fort Bridger, Wyoming. They departed from the Oregon Trail to head southwest to the Great Salt Lake. Thousands of other Mormons soon followed. Today, a marked 1,624-mile auto tour route closely parallels their historic trek. So they saved 300 miles by doing it by wagon. They saved 300 miles, Cap. We'd do that, wouldn't we? But man, there's a wind coming off of here, so I don't know if this is a shallow part of the river or what, but I don't think it'd be fun to cross that, especially during that time in history. I don't think there were lifeguards at that point. But I think we're going to call this one a wrap for this park and head to our next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is another one of those beautiful state parks in Iowa. Has a ton of things to do. There's bike trails. There's concrete bike trails along the route here. About 13 miles of hiking trails. Again, there's the campground, the day parks. This is where this crossing is another one of the day parks. In fact, we just saw a trail leading up the bridge we came over that looks pretty neat. There are also Indian mounds here in the park that we did not look for those, and I did not see they were publicized where they were at. But since this is a bluff area, that really makes sense that some of those mounds would be here in this area. So I hope you enjoy the video, and like always, please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. We'll see you on the next one.